You need it to get a job and better pay, but the state of New Mexico has made radical changes to a basic education test. And now, as Kim Holland has found out on special assignment, the people who need it most are giving the state a failing grade.
And this is a huge drop-off.
Now, nobody has passed a test.
We had 6 testers, computers froze.
In our students, we see that's an issue.
Change is always hard.
There is an issue with this test.
But when you're talking about people's future, it needs to be done right.
I think there's that initial fear that the test is on computer.
For the past few years, an average of about 9,000 people in New Mexico took the GED test, which, if they pass, gives students the equivalent of a high school diploma. Since World War II, test takers have used the old pencil and paper. But here in New Mexico, those days are over. Starting in January, the state began offering the GED test only on a computer. That change had an immediate and significant impact.
There was a drop-off when the test changed, but the problem is that now people aren't taking it at all.
In 2002, the last time there was a change to the GED test, there was a 27% drop in the number of people who passed it. This year, estimates show the drop is going to be a whopping 75%.
So why the big drop? The Unidos project has a work group made up of educators, community activists, and adult education experts. The group says figuring out why the numbers have plummeted is as easy as filling out a bubble on a test sheet.
One is because they're not familiar with technology. The other is because finances.
Much of our state is rural. Residents don't have access to computers and therefore are unfamiliar with the technology. There are also many pockets of poor populations in New Mexico. The new GED test now costs $120, more than twice as much as it cost before the state public education department switched over to the computer-only test in January. Teresa Guevara with Encuentro helps Spanish-speaking immigrants access the state's education system.
It could be brought into the definition of institutional racism, and it is a way of marginalizing, even further marginalizing, a segment of the population.
CNM is the largest GED testing center in the state. It took a big hit with the switch to computers and the increase in price, but officials hope the numbers will climb, and they're seeing the test takers are adapting once they get over that initial fear of the computer.
Once they're in our test center, sitting at the computer, they've already had at least one experience on the computer with the registration, and if they've done any practice testing, that's another experience with the computer.
But the facts speak for themselves. The numbers are way down. We took critics' concerns to the public education department.
When there are centers that for a full 5 months of the calendar year weren't offering the GED, that's going to have an impact in the number of students that can even access the test.
Deputy Education Secretary Leanne Lenti blamed part of the sharp decrease on 5 of the state's 34 testing centers opening late this year. 4 others still haven't opened. That may seem like a good chunk of the test centers, but last year they only accounted for 14% of the state's test takers. Lenti says the public education department has heard the concerns about the computers and cost. She says the state is responding, considering some proposals that would bring back paper and pencils.
Are the other options being considered because students are having a harder time taking the test, or facilities are having a harder time implementing the computers?
So I think it's a combination.
PED says there could be options for high school equivalency testers by the end of 2014. Critics worry PED hasn't moved fast enough.
They should be able to take the test on content and not have to worry about cost, not have to worry about the computer.
On special assignment, Kim Holland, KRQE News 13.
Our coverage on this story doesn't stop here. You can see an extended story on the GED problem online. We have the list of testing sites across the state, a look at the statistics of people getting their GED, and how you can get financial help to pay for the test. Just go to krqe.com.